Hey guys, so this is Osas and yeah, this is a little extract from our stereotypical episode, and so this is just to talk about something I did for my psychology class in school. And so since the this in psychology I was also talking about stereotypes, I figured why not combine what I'm doing in Gila about stereotypes with psychology. And so what I did is this. So right now I'm just gonna tell you about a little experiment I did to show what stereotypes have led to Black Americans to view Africans as savage, uneducated, etc., and for Africans to view African Americans as stupid, egotistical, etc. And so basically, the stereotypes of these two um, groups, even though they're from the same place, same race, they're of the same race, even though they're from the same race, these stereotypes are led to be has led there to be a little, discrimination and dislike among the two races. And like you can see the stereotypes are everywhere in our religion, in our jobs, and in all aspects of life. And this is just a little aspect where like, in a race, the two groups who belong to a race have decided to dislike each other because of the various stereotypes. And so what I did was in my school, ICS, I decided to just, go around and ask the people in my school who represent both groups about the stereotypes of the opposing groups. So for African Americans, I would ask Africans about the stereotype that had to deal with them. And so this way I got to like realize what stereotypes exactly affect both races. And so the problem I faced was that with African Americans, like they couldn't really answer properly the stereotypes about Africans because they are living in Africa, because I am in Ethiopia. And so like they couldn't get a perfect aspect on it. So the best way I thought to, hurdle this problem was just to ask them about how they felt about the stereotype before they came to Africa, and also that they should think about how media has portrayed Africans. So these two uh, hurdles, ways to jump the hurdle, should combine to form the perfect answer. If even though it's not that accurate, it should be accurate to an extent because media has portrayed Africa in a certain way, and also before these African Americans came here, they must have also thought that they must have also had these stereotypes about Africa. And so the investigation I did through all the research I got a lot of research. So about I found stereotypes for both races. With African stereotypes, I found this site called nationalstereotypes.com. And yeah, there I found a writer called Marco Pelsa. He's Brazilian. So yeah, I couldn't don't blame me if I can't pronounce his name. But yeah, with him he had a long list of stereotypes for different races and for different nationalities and so on. I even found some stereotypes about Nigerians and I really enjoy reading them because they were actually funny. But then with Africans, I found stereotypes such as they're uneducated, they're savage, and they listen to this, they swing from tree to tree in order to hunt their food. You get that if you're an African, I know that this must sound crazy to you, but I also found some from African Americans, such as that they're drug lords, they're crack victims, and they're just plain evil. And I found a whole bunch of other stereotypes for them. So basically, I just went around asking both representatives from both. I just went around asking representatives from both races about how they felt about the stereotypes of the other race. And so those who answer positively were just saying that they agreed to the stereotype of the other race, that they say that yes, that stereotype is true. And then those who answered neutral were just like they neither agreed or disagree with the stereotype. And those who answered negatively answered that they do not agree with the stereotype and they don't believe it to be true about the other race. And so here goes my survey. And so with African Americans, um, I got I asked them stereotypes about Africans. And so the stereotype about Africans I got was that Africans are savage, they're uneducated, they live in huts, they live with wildlife, and they also wear clothing They wear nothing but little cloths to cover their private parts. So yeah, those are some of the stereotypes I got. And so for the first one, savage. So I got for positive, I got a 67%, which shows that 67 of the people of the African Americans I asked actually agreed that this stereotype is true because of what media has portrayed and so on. And then I have 23% for neutral and just 10% for negative. And if you're an African, you know that the 10% that said negative know what they're talking about because we are not savage. And also for the uneducated part, we have positive 48%, we have neutral 17%, and negative 35%. So it's just kind of a balance, but still, more people still think that Africans are uneducated. But the truth is that some Africans are some of the smartest people in the world. They've accomplished a lot in their lives. Just look at Wale Soyinka from Nigeria. He's won a lot of awards for the books he writes and so on. Okay, down to the next one. Next one is Africans live in huts. Yeah, live in huts. Get that? Like, yeah, it's all about media. Media has portrayed so many propaganda of Africans living in huts and suffering from various diseases and such. But with this, I actually like the results because for positive, I got 38%. For neutral, I got just 8%. And for negative, I got 54%, which shows that the majority believe that Africans do not live in huts because they know what really goes on in Africa and that Africa is really developing as a what do you call it? As a continent. And it's really starting to progress. So yeah. And then for the last one, the stereotype was wearing nothing but little clothes to cover their private parts. Yeah, this one was hurt. Well, for positive, I got a whooping 70%. 70%. And for neutral, I have 13%. For negative, just 17%. So this shows that with what media has portrayed that Africans are just savages. We don't wear clothes, we're virtually naked. We run around wearing nothing at all. Just little bags of cloth just to cover our private parts. And this just makes me really sad. But still, let's go to the next one. With Africans. With Africans, I found some stereotypes, five also, that says, Af- that says, no, so, oh, sorry, that was a mistake. With Africans, I asked them stereotypes about African Americans. And so some of the stereotypes I found for African Americans were that they're criminals and dangerous people, they're lazy, they love rap music, they love to eat fried and fatty food and are wasteful, and they're also vulgar. And so let's go. So with the first one, they're criminals and dangerous people. I got for positive I have 49%, for neutral 21%, and for negative 30%. So this shows that most Africans believe that African Americans are violent, they're criminals, they're always in jail, they're always out of jail. And also I feel that this is something that media has portrayed because most of the time you hear about black people, you about black Americans, you hear that they go into jail or if there's a kidnapping suspect, he's black, blah blah blah. You hear all these stories about black people, and also I feel that racial profiling has also been an issue to this because with racial profiling, if you see sometimes I read this article in the Washington Post, it said that if you see that there was a cop who saw a guy running down the road to his job and he was dressed with a sleeveless shirt, jeans, and boots, and so automatically he thought he was running from the scene of a crime, and so the officer actually stopped him and searched him and actually took him down to the station, and all the guy was doing was running to his job because he was late. And so you can see how media's are just and racial profiling has just made this impression that black people are criminals. And also the next one is lazy. So for positive, I have 72%. For neutral, I have 16%. And for negative, I have just 12%. So this shows that Africans just believe that black people are lazy, that they don't want to work, they don't believe in work, they're not hardworking. And this contradicts what Africans think, because Africans are hardworking people, and they work hard to get their money. They're some of the most hardworking and disciplined people out there. And so this shows that there's contrast and friction between both groups. So this can lead to discrimination. And also the third one is that black people love rap music. And so with this, I actually got a weird um, result, because like for positive I have 38%, for neutral 48%, and for negative 14%. So this shows that they were either way, because yeah, some black people like rap music, of course, and others do not. But Africans have realized that and are starting to understand. And also the fifth one is African Americans love to eat fried and fatty food and are wasteful. And so with this, I have a positive of 62%, neutral 20%, and negative 18%. So this shows that Africans believe that black people are fat. They eat a lot, they don't exercise, they're black, and they always waste their food, which is also contrary to the African culture, because we don't waste our food. We don't like to, what do you call it? We don't eat all that much fatty food, and we also try to keep our weight in check, unlike me, as you can see. And also, the last one for African Americans is that they are vulgar. So to me, I kind of agree with this one, because media also has had a huge impact on me for me to believe that African Americans are vulgar. So for positive, I have 84%. For neutral, 9%, and for negative, 7%. So this shows that 84% of the people actually believe that African Americans are vulgar, they curse, they are inappropriate, they dress anyhow they want, they say anyhow they want, they react anyhow they want, and don't care about what effect it has on the environment. So yeah, this shows. I actually kind of agree with this one. No offense, but this is what I feel. Because I've been to America, and I believe that they are vulgar, because I've seen how they dress, how they talk, how they act. They act like it's the ghetto. They are, what do you call it, homies, and they're in the ghetto. You shoot everyone, bam, bam, and that's how life goes. And so this was the survey I had, and so my conclusion was that with these, that we can pick out some certain stereotypes among both races that seem to cause friction between each other. For example, um, for hold up, for example, with Africans, they have stereotypes that they're savages. Yeah, that wait, hold up. That they are savages, they swing from tree to tree, and they're virtually naked. And so this technically contradicts with what African Americans believe, because I know that African Americans really, they dress, they actually wear clothes. They, what do you call it? They don't swing from tree to tree because they are civilized. They work and so on, and they are also not savage. And so this shows that there can be some friction, because African Americans can believe these things about Africans, and so it'll cause them to, feel that Africans are inferior to them, and so with this called ground downgrading or discrimination. And so with Africans, they feel that African Americans are lazy, love to eat fried fatty food, wasteful, and they're also vulgar. And this also contradicts with the African culture, because yeah, if you're African, you know what I'm talking about. You can't be lazy in an African home. because you have to be hardworking. They're gonna ask, your parents are always gonna ask you about your grades. They want you to do well. They want you to be hardworking. They tell you to go read your books. You go read your books. That's how our African home is. And also Africans, we're not vulgar. We respect each other. We respect how we look. We don't do anything to tarnish our bodies like tattoos and someone tattoos and the rest. But now they're becoming a more popular trend, but still we don't accept that. And also we're not wasteful. In an African home, you waste, you know what's gonna come to you, because you're the one who put that, you're the one who dished that food for yourself, so you know what's gonna come to you. So yeah, these stereotypes can cause friction between these two races, but it's important that we understand that there's still some similarities between the two, because yeah, we're all from the same race. We should all love each other and so on. But still, this is what I got, and this also shows how stereotypes can, affect our society. And so this has been Osas from Stereotypical. Thanks, guys.